Moment of silence, please. Please rise for the flag salute. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Here comes the late break.
In accordance with the provisions of the Open Public Meeting Act, a public notice of this meeting has been sent to board members, all district schools, the Herald News, the Trends, the Record, the Messenger, West Milford Town Hall, the County Superintendent's Office, the Board Attorney, and Cablevision of Warwick, and posted in the Administration Building. Copies of the board meeting calendar resolution were provided to all local media, Town Hall, Township Library, and all district schools. Roll call.
Mrs. Romeo?
Here.
Mr. Seidowitz? Mr. Drew?
Here.
Mrs. Dwyer?
Here.
Mr. Garino?
Here.
Mrs. Fritz?
Here.
Mr. Ovchinsky? Mrs. O'Brien?
Here.
Mrs. Van Dyke?
Here, Mr. Ovchinsky said he would be late. Dr. Angelo?
Yes. Good evening, everybody. Welcome to our January meeting. I'd like to update the board on a few items. We are ready to announce our Teacher of the Years and Education Service Professionals of the Year for each school. Just to give you a brief review of the process, each school has a process where they select one from each category, and then each school winner goes to the county level where they compete for the County Teacher of the Year and the County Educational Service Professional of the Year. So as of today, we do not have a district teacher of the year, but we do have 8, one from each school. So I'll just read their names, and congratulations to everybody. At the high school, Allison Scully, Special Education, and the Education Service Professional of the Year, Dave Gerald, Instructional Aid. Macapan, Robert Calamari, Social Studies, Tracy Gencarelli, LDTC, on our Child Study team. Apshua School, Catherine Clinton, Special Education, and Rosemary Jansen, Instructional Aid. Marshall Hill, Tara Garino, 3rd grade, and Christine Gennardi Fisher, our Encore teacher. Maple Road, Kristen Rossamini, 2nd grade, and Joanne Ayers, Instructional Aid. Paradise Knoll, Melissa Kyle, grade 5, and Dana McConnell, Instructional Aid. Upper Greenwood Lake, Dina Accardi, grade 3, and Jennifer Wallen, speech therapist. Westbrook School, Lynn Darty, Special Education, and our very own Megan Donegan, our reading specialist. So congratulations to everybody. Good luck when you go to the county level. Next up, Science Olympiad and Robotics. We've had a recent push last couple, at least since I've been here, the last 3 years. We're pushing the STEM subject area, science, technology, engineering, and math. One of these areas that we're really growing is the Science Olympiad. It's a national tournament where students make up teams at each school and they compete in interscholastic competitions similar to athletics. Our Science Olympiad team, we wore T-shirts which were designed by one of our seniors, Connor Partington, and they were printed by Mr. Weedman in his Graphic Arts 2 and Graphic Arts 3 classes. Our Macapan team ranked 13th in the competition, and they were coached by Mary Bosenmeyer, Dina Pizzino, and Joe Petrosi. In our high school division, we ranked 19th place. We finished in 19th place, and they were coached by Dina Pizzino and Joe Petrosi again. Some of our students at Macapan won individual awards as well. Lina Liakis won Boomalever, 1st place. Zanaya Melkor and Violet Willows won Mystery Architecture, 3rd place. And Capper, Ziller, and Wyatt Space finished in 3rd place in the Write It, Do It competition. Also, last year we had a robotics presentation right here in the middle of the board meeting. We're planning on doing that again later this year, the first opportunity that we have, something else not planned at our board meeting. But we just had a competition at Sparta High School on January 12th. Our high school team is coached by Karen Flaherty. She was the teacher that was here last year. And we finished in 44th place in the tournament, which doesn't sound high, but there's hundreds of teams competing from all over the state. So And it's only our second year competing, so they finished much better than they did last year. So they're showing tremendous
Great.
improvement, and congratulations to all the students and teachers involved. Next up, we have our monthly progress toward district goals. We're finishing up marking period 2, which is the end of our first semester here. At the elementary level, all of our students took the Fontes and Pinnell benchmark reading assessment in the fall for their benchmark exam. That was grades 1 to 6. Our kindergartners, we don't test in the fall. We wait till the winter to give them a couple months to acclimate to school. They finished their Fontes and Pinnell baseline. So all of our students have the first baseline assessment for their reading. They'll take a second follow-up one in the spring, and we're going to measure the growth in reading. Our STAR Math is very similar. We use that in math for students from second grade up through 8th grade and select students in high school. We did 2 administrations in the fall. We're going to do a 3rd administration at some point in February. And we're going to measure the data, measure that growth throughout the year. Our math committee, we spent a lot of time discussing math at our board meetings. We have a meeting next week, I believe, with a few publishing companies to look at new materials for next year in our math grades, probably elementary, potentially K and 1, starting out with a couple of grades just at the primary grades and then moving it up through the system. But we're not quite there yet, but we are meeting next week. And we are finishing up planning for our Professional Development Day in February. This is the day after President's Day. It's a Tuesday. We have a couple of big projects going on that day. We have a co-teaching, instruction and co-teaching for all of our teachers in math, science, social studies, English, and special education, grades 7 to 12 at the high school. That's how the generalist, the subject matter teacher, can learn to work with the special education teacher to co-teach their classes. We have IEP training, how to write IEPs, coming in for all of our case managers. And we are partnering with CASA to provide mental health first aid training for select staff members. So it's a busy day, and there's a couple other similar assemblies going on that day as well, but we're really looking forward to it. All right. Kelsey?
Okay, so I have a few announcements that I'm just going to make real quick. In the past, January 8th, we hosted Alumni Day, in which seniors that had graduated last year came in to talk to all different grades and just tell us about what they've accomplished so far in their first semester at college. We also had the pep rally January 10th to get all of our sports hyped up. National Honor Society is currently partnering with Got Sneakers to collect sneakers for underprivileged children who don't even own a single pair. I'm also heading another relief project in partnership with Varsity Club, and we're collecting donations for California wildfire specific schools called Paradise High in Paradise, California, and we're just collecting donations for their athletics. So, and then we've also had a lot of individual athletic accomplishments this past month, and they're all highlighted on the Twitter pages, you probably saw. And lastly, we have the DUI reenactment coming up this June. It'll be June 4th. We sent a letter to the Board of Ed inviting you guys all, so everybody can see it.
I did get it. I plan on coming. I don't know if the other board members are available. I've seen it once before, and right, good time, perfect
Bring
timing.
it back, yeah.
Good.
It'll be for the juniors and the seniors right before
For prom. Perfect.
And that's all I have, so.
Thank you. Mr. Novak?
Thank you. Before I introduce tonight's presentation, I just wanted to comment on one topic from Education Committee that I thought was important to discuss here as a group. A number of years ago, I believe it was in Dr. Anamone's first year, we had a district goal or a pilot that took place in a single school called a Student Data Dashboard. We have recently begun talks with a company called Linkit that is essentially that idea evolved into a much bigger picture. So we have a company now who does it well in Linkit. We've seen some of their sample products, and we're in the process of uploading and connecting our student information with our student data into this data warehousing. And it's going to create an opportunity for us to really dig deep into all the sources of information that we use to take a look at our students. Dr. Annemone just mentioned a few, including STAR Math, Fontes and Pinnell benchmark assessment, obviously PARC, or what is now going to be called the Student Learning Assessment. We're about to hear about AP, SAT, those types of assessments. We're going to be able to include all of these data points in one location and be able to really dig deep and look close at what that tells us, areas of growth, areas of success, and really help guide where we're going. So I thought it was important to mention here, and also a good opportunity to segue into one of those sources of data that we're going to present here tonight, which is Mrs. Heidi Godow, who's going to present about our college admission assessment report. In the past, typically, we've combined this with our PARC presentation. That always becomes such a lengthy thing. We believe that this information deserves its own night. So here to present is Mrs. Godow, and I'm going to play the role of the clicker this evening.
Good evening, everyone. So tonight is just to provide some insight on our students' progress and how they stack up to other students in the state, globally, and also neighboring towns.
I can't do lights and click, sorry. I'm going to deal with the lights. That'll work.
That's good.
There we go.
Okay. So the AP program is a two-week program where students take an exam in the morning and the afternoon. It is administered over 2 weeks. You can see there's an overview of our school's participation in the assessments across the board, all of the assessments that we do that are related to College Board. There's not much data for prior to 2016 because new benchmarks were created. So essentially we're looking at comparing our students with the new benchmarks. Okay, but there is a strong positive trajectory in participation in the 2018 AP despite enrollment declines. Okay, and the next one. Linked in there is our AP program overview. This will be on the website, so if you care to look at that, it goes into a little bit more depth about some of our advanced programs. Okay, this is our 5-year summary, and this is it shows our 5 years of data compared to the school, state, and global level. It reflects the year-over-year changes in the percentage of AP students with a score of 3 or better. Success on the AP is often defined as having a score of 3 or higher, and these findings show that students who have a 3 or better do better in college-level courses. The percentage of students with an AP score or higher consistently outperforms the state and global percentages. Okay, let's see. The 5-year AP score summary, we increased our number of students by 9, our number of, let me see here, hang on, sorry. We increased our total number of students by 19, the exams taken, and those with a score of 3 or better by 12, and total AP students by 21. Okay, the next slide. Okay. Last year it was requested that we look at how our AP participation compares with other districts. So I selected a few here. You can see that consistently we are on par or exceed those of similar schools. West Milford is also more inclusive of students, and we support student and parents' requests to register for the AP course. And percent growth of AP scores is consistent and exceeds that of other districts. Okay? And there's a graph with that. Okay, next one. So the AP overview. This compares the number of the percentage of students with a score of 3 to 5. West Milford scores are 4% higher than New Jersey for students receiving a score of 3 to 5 on all AP exams, and 15% higher than all test takers globally. This year we have 274 exams and 165 exam takers. Okay. Again, last year it was requested to look at the breakdown of our scores per subject. So I kind of highlighted some of the areas in that we're doing really well in. I also have the total number of students enrolled in the AP course and the total number of students who took an exam. We always wonder why not every student enrolled in an AP course takes the exam. This year we did budget so we could offset the cost of the exam from about 95 to 61. So we're hoping that will help students who are in multiple AP courses be able to afford, to take all the exams. And we'll have that data, later on in the year. You can look at the next slide, which has the remaining courses. Okay, SAT and PSAT. The College Board developed college and career readiness benchmarks, which help students and educators assess the students' progress toward college readiness from year to year. So you're comparing apples to apples. 2017 was a level-setting year. Scores prior to 2017 cannot be compared to those after that. So educators can use, you can go to the next one. Yeah. Educators can use the benchmark information available in the new online score reporting platform to identify and accelerate students who are ahead, to support those who are behind, and to provide guidance in the academic areas where students need support. Okay, the College Board has developed a color-coded system for reporting scores, test scores, and sub-scores to make it more easy for parents and students to understand the reports. Next one. Okay, let's see. So the new SAT and college readiness benchmarks and grade-level benchmarks are based on actual student success in entry-level college courses. Specifically, the benchmark score represents a 75% likelihood of a student receiving at least a C grade in the first semester. All right, the grade-level benchmarks are also based on expected student growth toward the benchmark. So you can take a student's score in PSAT 8 and hopefully see improvement over the years as they progress through the PSAT and then eventually the SAT. Students are considered college ready when their SAT section scores meet both the math and evidence-based reading writing benchmarks. Students who fall below can still be successful with additional preparation and perseverance. Okay, SAT. Okay, so the students take the SAT most months starting in August through June. So this is the data from 2017 to 18. The West Milford evidence-based reading and writing mean scores exceeded the benchmark by 65 points. They fell below the mean for New Jersey, and they exceeded the mean globally by 9 points. For math, they fell 1 point below the benchmark for math, fell 18 points below the mean in New Jersey, and fell 2 points below the mean globally. The SAT is administered on a Saturday. Okay. The PSAT, we give the PSAT through to all students, grades 8 through 11, including general and special education students. The state data that I'm going to be comparing our scores to includes many Saturday administrations, and that would be for students who are typically four-year college-bound students. But we test all of our students because the resources that students have access to by participating in it, I think is very advantageous to them. Okay, so making progress toward meeting and exceeding the benchmark is a shared goal, but it is just a snapshot. There are other many data points that colleges use to predict student success. But participation in this PSAT provides many resources, access to many college and career readiness resources. One of them is free personalized SAT and PSAT practice on Khan Academy. Khan Academy, you can pull in your scores from your assessment, and it will customize practice activities and assessments based on your strengths and weaknesses. So it won't have you practice things that you did well in. It'll just help you focus on where your areas of weakness are. So it's a very smart test prep. The students also have access to online college and career planning tools through the College Board, financial aid. They begin to receive information from colleges and financial aid information, and that starts getting them thinking about college. There's careers and major explorations with the College Board and a lot of different areas of College Board that can help predict where they might be successful, where it might be a good fit. Okay. Also, certain scores may be used to demonstrate proficiency in lieu of the PARC. Students who aren't unable to demonstrate proficiency on the PARC have been able to use the PSAT and the SAT as an alternate assessment. We're still waiting for the state to decide if they're going to continue to allow that. So for 11th grade students, in 2017, West Milford matched the state in meeting the benchmarks for English reading and writing, and fell 9% below the state in meeting the benchmarks for math. The next one. So the mean score. For English, the West Milford 11th graders exceeded the benchmark by 28 points, fell below the state by 12. For math, fell below the benchmark by 33 points, and fell below by 22 points. Grade 10 PSAT, percent of students meeting the benchmarks. For the 10th grade, we exceeded slightly the benchmark for English reading and writing and fell 9% below the state of those meeting the benchmark for math. Okay, grade 10 mean scores. For grade 10, we met the benchmark, but fell slightly compared to the state by 14 for English reading and writing. For math, we fell short of the benchmark by 39 points and the state by 32 points. Grade 9, percent of students meeting the benchmarks. Students exceeded the state in meeting the English reading and writing benchmark by 13% and fell 2% for math. And for the grade 9 PSAT mean score, for English reading and writing, we exceeded the mean score by 45 points and the state by 17. For math, we fell below the benchmark by 22 and the state by 7 points. For grade 8, the percentage of students meeting the benchmark, we exceeded the percentage of students meeting the benchmark in each subject, and by 19% in English reading, writing, and 36 for math. So that's good. Okay, the mean for the PSAT 8, grade 8, we exceeded the benchmark by 39 points for English and the state by 29 points for math. But we fell below the benchmark by 7 points and exceeded the state by 10. Okay, this is a way to sort of track students' progress through, by cohort. So first we're going to look at the class of 2019. The class of 2019 had a slight negative trend from grade 10 to 11th. And the next slide. For the class of 2020, there is a slight negative trajectory from 2016 to 2018 for English and for math. For the class of 2021, there is a positive trajectory for math. And for the class of 2020, it's a positive trajectory in over 2 years in math, and a slightly negative trajectory for English. The PSAT cohort for the class of 2023, we just have their first year's data, so we'll be looking at that again next year. Okay, one of the things, many of the things that we do to try to support the students, there's a lot of parent and student outreach to educate them prior to the assessment. We do in-class guidance lessons to go over the assessment. We distribute the PSAT details. We provide books. We provide opportunities to participate in a Catalyst Boot Camp, which is a test prep company. And we do specific PSAT and SAT in-class overviews prior to the assessment in 10th grade. After the assessment, we go into the classrooms and we deliver score, how to read the score report and how to use it in 8th and 11th grade. We actually have the students go on create a College Board account if they have not created one yet, link their scores, pull them into Khan Academy, and show them the resources to help use that resource to improve their scores. We do send the score reports home. We have books, PSAT books available for the staff to integrate into the curriculum if they choose to. And again, we do send a lot of information for parents to access these resources. For the ACT, which is becoming more and more popular with students, they also have college readiness benchmarks, and they are the minimum score needed on an ACT subject area to indicate a 50% chance of earning a B or higher and a 75% chance of earning a C or higher in a corresponding freshman credit-bearing course. Okay. For the ACT, we consistently exceeded the benchmarks and the state in terms of the percentage of students meeting or exceeding benchmarks. We do have a fewer number of students participating in the ACT, but those students that do participate in the ACT, like the SAT, are students, intending to attend a four-year program. So if we look at the next slide, this is the 5-year trend for composite scores. We are making good progress with a positive trajectory, and with more students taking the ACT, the Catalyst test prep, which was typically only SAT, now is inclusive of the ACT. They have some combination courses for that. All right. It was also asked last year to provide this information. We have more information about our on our profile, our 2018-2019 profile, which is linked into the presentation, which again you can access once it's posted. And you can see the numbers. There's 40 for 2000, the class of 2018, 46, almost 47% of the students went to four-year colleges, 31 to a two-year college, 2.9 in military, 5.8 to career and tech college, and then 13% to other. Keep in mind that although 46%, that number does not reflect the number of students who are accepted to a four-year university. We have our much higher acceptance of students accepted, but oftentimes they choose to attend a two-year rather, for economic reasons. Okay. Any questions?
I appreciate all this data, but I would like to know what conclusions you come to as a result of the data you found.
In terms of what?
In terms of scores, in terms of student outcomes, in terms of students going to 4- and 2-year colleges, what conclusions and weaknesses and strengths?
Well, having just accessed the data recently, I really would probably need a little bit more time to really synthesize it. I know that it's hard to tell. I mean, we test the students, in Park, formerly known as the Park. We test them with the PSAT. They take the SAT. So there is a lot of testing going on. I do sometimes think that there's more that we can do in terms of emphasizing the importance of it and really getting them to look at taking it as an opportunity.
But when you look at the scores, when you look at the weak math scores, and it looks like the falling language arts scores, what conclusions do you reach about that? Something needs to be done.
Yeah, I think we need to look at where our weaknesses are and try to incorporate, address that and look at the data and have more data-driven instruction. Absolutely.
Steve? Oh, I'm sorry.
You pointed out, I wasn't aware of this, but we can relate the PSAT scores directly to units that can help them improve in the Khan Academy.
Mm-hmm.
Are we doing anything to point them in that direction or to track whether they've done that or to encourage that or to see if there's any improvement?
Yeah, I consistently reach out to parents with very specific steps for them to help. I do, when I send out emails.
Do they have to come to you?
No. It's very simple to do. It's just a matter of getting the students to do it, getting them to create the College Board account. We are doing more in terms of programming, like all the 11th grade students have a College Board account. The 8th grade students have a College Board account. They are going to be pulled after, as a result of the scores, when we distribute the scores to the 8th grade, they will create a College Board account and look. And so we're making progress in that area to have them have more access to it. But now we're getting more into the classroom to do that, because they need to. You can tell them to do it, but you really need to sit them down and have them do it.
I think that's the change that we've seen now that we've implemented PSAT for all, that we're able to have those conversations now at a much younger age, or with students that we wouldn't have had access to in the past.
This is exactly the kind of thing that the SAT prep classes do. You take the SAT, they see where your weaknesses are, you go back, you study that area. They then perform better in their regular coursework and on the future takings of the SAT and so on and so forth. So I mean, if we've already got something, we need to be more proactive about letting them know it's there, telling them the results, what they have to do, so on and so forth, instead of just having it out there that we hope they go look at.
This year is the first year we're actually implementing a 10 in-class program, developmental counseling program in the classroom. So we're delivering 10 lessons over the course of a year to all the students, and I'm hopeful that that will help the students move toward making more progress on these assessments. Yes. Yeah.
This is great information. Thank you so much for presenting. I have questions just specific to AP courses. It says there's 26 courses offered. It looks like there was only 20 exams given. Is that true?
Yeah, they alternate. We don't offer all courses every year, so there's a couple of them that alternate every other year.
Okay. And are we talking about adding more courses in the future?
There may be an art course offered, another AP art course, but at this point, I don't. Sometimes you have too many and it spreads them out, so there's only 4 in one, 4 in another, 4 in, so we want to keep our numbers, reasonable.
I'm interested, not to necessarily know right now, but maybe in the future too, which grades these are all offered to. I
Sure.
don't see any freshman AP courses.
The world history is
the world
is
history,
yeah.
okay.
It's the only one there.
The geography, right? That's,
World history.
Not yet.
World history.
okay.
We don't offer AP.
We don't offer the geography. Got it. Thank you.
You're welcome.
I want to piggyback on what Mr. Drew said. In looking at the results from those tests, are we bringing the students into the guidance office, and are we sitting down with them and showing them, look, this is the area? I mean, it's one thing to tell them as a group, but once we start, we really have to start individualizing to each student that this is the avenue that you have to take, and this resource is there for you. Is that something that's up?
We've done it a few different ways. We have, done it in a whole classroom where we've distributed the scores to the students. I found that was maybe not the best way to do it, because some kids are uncomfortable with their high score and some students are uncomfortable with their low score. Last year we did it individually with the students. We discussed their AP potential, and we will be doing that again through scheduling. So that's still going to happen at some point, but we did decide to mail them home this year because when we give them to the students, they don't always go home. So we mailed them home with a score report, followed by a Honeywell and Naviance emails with the resources and links to access them. But we will be having those conversations with the students, but in their scheduling meeting.
So there's something in there that's being sent to the parent, so that the parent knows that this is being offered, and that we're not just having this conversation one-on-one with the student, but that we're having this conversation also with the parent, that there's a parent component in here, because I think that the parents would be driving that train to get them to be taking the other,
Right.
looking at the Khan Academy and the areas of weakness
Absolutely,
that they
yeah.
need to address.
Yeah.
Terry?
Is there a way of putting the, what we're talking about on the parent portal so the parent knows what his child's scores are, just instead of only sending them home or bringing the child into the guidance office? If a parent could get into the
The
parent
scores,
portal.
the scores are in Naviance, so we do upload the scores in a Naviance, and that can help students and parents create scattergrams where they're applying and look at trends and where they will be accepted and maybe reach schools and safety schools. So we do really push that as well. And again, our comprehensive guidance program is doing much more of that this year than we had in the past.
Thank you.
Sure. Anything else? Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Mrs. Francisco, the minutes we need a motion for the minutes for the December 18th workshop regular meeting and executive session. I need a motion.
I'd like to make a motion to approve the following Board of Education meeting minutes, December 18th, 2018, workshop regular meeting, December 18th, 2018, and second.
Any discussion? Anyone have a comment on the minutes? If not, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Unanimous. All righty. President's report. I just want to go over that starting the new year, next week's meeting, the 29th, we will have Kathy Hellaway here from New Jersey School Board. We had set it up with the start of the new year so that we can go and do our ethics presentation so that all board members will be aware of what their responsibilities are as board members and any questions that they might have. She'll be here also to address those. And next week's meeting, we'll also be having our picture taken. So everybody come with a smile.
And wear black.
And I would say probably 7:15.
Yes. Yeah, there'll be a reminder sent out.
Yeah, and there will be a reminder. Okay.
Also, Madam President, there will be a budget discussion.
Oh,
The
yeah.
budget books will be released tomorrow.
Yes, the budget will be
preliminary.
coming home tomorrow, so you
Great.
can
Preliminary
welcome them
budget.
into your homes.
I can't wait.
Public comment, members of the public who have requested to speak prior to the meeting will be first 5 minutes for each speaker for a period of 30 minutes. Then, time permitting, other public comment limited to 5 minutes per speaker will be allowed until the 30-minute time period transpires. All members of the public speaking during public comment are asked to address topics listed in the agenda. All speakers are asked to give their full name, spell their last name, and provide their address. Speakers may not use the names of students during public comment. Anyone wishing to speak?
Good evening, trustees and administrators. First, I'd like to say kudos to the administration for working with CASA to get mental health training for the staff. I think it's a really great initiative. Second, and these aren't part of what I came up to originally speak about, so one thing that concerned me that Mrs. Godow brought up is there is a statistic of 13.5% of our students that appear to be at loose ends at the end of high school. I think that that's an important factor to see if you can get a planned future going for those students and reduce that number as much as possible. So if you guys could look into that, I would, I'm sure it would be appreciated by many parents. I'm sorry, I'm not sure if I said my name and everything.
No, you didn't.
Glenn Huber, West Milford resident and middle school parent. I looked at the agenda this evening, and I noticed that there were some policies up for discussion and vote tonight, and then I went to the website and I didn't find them. So my concern is this, is that I don't believe, since the public has been provided the proposed changes, since public comment is therefore denied, I don't think they can be brought to a vote tonight. I imagine you could discuss them, but I don't believe they can be brought to a vote, as it would be probably a violation of the Sunshine Law. I'm particularly interested in seeing the organizational flow chart that's up for revision, as that could have ongoing implications on the operation of the district and I think the public should be aware of that. I looked into some of the bylaws that were listed, just to kind of try and get an idea of what's under consideration anyway, because I do know that, last year some things were kind of like went full steam ahead, even maybe they shouldn't have. So I'm going to throw out a little speculation. One of the bylaws, 0164, concerns something that might concern something I predicted last year, and that's something that's happened before in the history of our school board. That particular bylaw has to do with conduct of board meetings. It begins, Robert's Rules of Order, newly revised, shall govern the Board of Education in its deliberations and acts. Now, I don't know if it was 4 or 5 years ago, this was actually brought up, and the board, I don't know if they were successful or whether it was just tried, but the board tried to get rid of Robert's Rules of Order because there were certain outspoken board members that certain people didn't want to hear from. Okay, historically, it's been a bad idea. So I hope I'm wrong, but if that's the case, I hope you consider it very seriously, because without that structure, board members who are elected officials can be denied equal time for discussion. Discussion can be minimized to the detriment of the public. I can see no public good that comes from not having proper structure to board meetings and discussion. I'm going to leave you with one last thought, and it's unrelated to that. I'd like to suggest that the board be careful of less experienced legal advice. While Mr. Donahue, I'm sure, has a very bright future, I don't think his 2 years of experience, and I'm not considering the clerkship,
Excuse me, is this not the agenda? Because that's what public
is
comments about.
sufficient for the challenges of this board. Thank you.
Anyone else wishing to speak?
Hi, I'm Erin Hahn. I'm a junior at West Milford High School.
Hi, I'm Jordan Gerald. I'm a senior at West Milford High School.
So I have been on the golf teams since my freshman year. And
I've been on it since my freshman year, too.
So first of all, we would just like to thank the board for giving us the opportunity to participate in the county conference and state tournaments.
We would also like to thank you for giving us your time tonight. Being part of the golf team has been one of the best parts of our high school career. However, there are some things we have missed out on because we're on a co-ed team.
So we don't get to participate in as many matches as the boys team simply because we don't have transportation on short notice and we don't have a consistent coach. We'd also like to thank Mr. McClurg for the last 2 years being a volunteer coach for the girls. The only way we can consistently play is if we are in the boys' matches, and that's because they're set and scheduled from the beginning of the season.
There's lots of girls that miss out on practices due to not enough tee time, which gives them discouragement, and they do not return the next year. We also are only able to play as long as we buy all of our own equipment, including balls and tees.
So as we're in our junior and senior years, we're looking at colleges, especially ones with girls' golf teams, and we would be happy to be taking advantage of all of the scholarships that are put to waste by people that don't play golf, as it's not as popular. So we would like to have as much opportunity to access these as the boys do.
We would be so grateful to be able to put those scholarships to use and have the same opportunity to continue our golf career as the boys do.
Again, thank you for your time and taking the funding of the girls' golf team into consideration.
Thank you.
Good job. Thank you.
Anyone else wishing to speak? If not,
Seeing none, I'd propose public comments.
all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Bye.
accept the agenda.
Accept the agenda.
I move to accept the agenda as presented.
Second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Mrs. Dwyer, Education.
I'd like to move items 1 through 5.
Second. Any discussion?
I forgot, is the golf team on here? No.
No.
No. It's somewhere else in the agenda.
Yeah, it's for the end.
It's at the end.
Budget, yeah.
No. Any other discussion? If not, roll call, Mrs. Francisco?
Mrs. Dwyer.
Yes.
Mrs. Fritz.
Yes.
Mr. Drew.
Yes.
Mr. Ofshinsky.
Let's get his name right.
Ms. O'Brien.
Yes.
You have to teach me how to say that. Mrs. Romeo.
Yes.
Mr. Seidowitz.
Yes.
Mr. Guarino.
Yes.
Mrs. Van Dyke.
Yes. We're going to have the, after the executive session. All right, so personnel, Mrs. Fritz?
I'd like to move items 1 through 24. Second.
Discussion? Mr. Drew?
Could I ask that we wait until after executive session to discuss item 7?
So there's a motion to postpone by Mr. Drew. If there's a second. Then discussion, if there is any.
Okay. Anyone have a problem?
Yep.
Okay, so we'll leave that to
We'll do it. Sorry, just a point of order. Barbara, can you just call, roll call for that?
Sure. Is this to postpone number 7 to
Number
later?
7, until after we meet
After
in executive, and then we'll take action on it at that point.
Okay, so Mr. Seidowitz?
Yes.
Mr. Drew?
Yes.
Mrs. Dwyer?
Yes.
Mrs. Fritz?
Yep.
Mr. Guarino?
Yes.
Ms. O'Brien?
No.
Mr. Ovchinsky?
Yes.
Mrs. Romeo?
Yes.
Mrs. Van Dyke?
Yes. Okay, so that'll be after executive session also. Any other discussion under personnel? I just want to mention the 3 names that are on here that are retiring. All 3 have given years to our district, and we want to thank them for their service and their time. We wish them well in their retirement. Mrs. Francisco? Oh, I'm sorry, I did want to mention one other thing. Under item 23, we have 2 people volunteering, one under bagpipes and the other under boys lacrosse. We need to thank them because they're giving hours back to the district that are greatly appreciated.
Mrs. Dwyer?
Yes.
Mrs. Fritz?
Yes.
Mr. Drew?
Yes.
Mr. Ovchinsky? Ms. O'Brien?
Yes.
Mrs. Romeo?
Yes.
Mr. Seidowitz?
Yes.
Mr. Guarino?
Yes.
Mrs. Van Dyke?
Yes.
All right, if I could just pause for a moment just to welcome Ms. Pearsall. She's our new Supervisor of Special Services. Ms. Pearsall comes to us most recently from Pequannock Township School District, but prior to that, she was a Maple Road back up in West Milford High School.
That's right, absolutely. And I'd like to take this opportunity to thank the board. Like Dr. Anamone said, I am a West Milford graduate myself, so I have a lot of Highlander pride, and I'm very excited to be coming back home to West Milford and work with our students, our staff, and our families. So again, thank you for this opportunity, and I look forward to working with everyone.
Thank you. Thank you. Budget and Finance, Mr. Guarino?
Yes, so I'd like to move items 1 through 11, Budget and Finance.
Second.
And Terry, number 9 is the...
I saw it.
Discussion?
it should be in visitation.
Mr. Drew?
We had discussed looking into whether a lower level of Ford for item number 3 might be appropriate. Do we have an answer to that? And if we approve one, can we still go get the other one?
I believe that I put a pretty long discussion into the finance minutes for the, and basically what happened is our supervisor of operations and our transportation chief mechanic got together and they decided that they could swap vehicles. So we have a vehicle that we're already using that is going to go to the transportation yard, and we're going to buy one new vehicle for operations. So we'll be saving about $40,000 by only buying one vehicle instead of buying the
Yep.
two.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Mrs. Dwyer, did you have a question about the golf team?
I don't have a question about the golf team, but I do want to point out that I think it's a good thing that we are going to have a girls' golf team because there's a lot of events that the boys participate in, and because they are part of the boys' team, they're not eligible. They have to have their own team, so they miss out on a lot. They miss out on a lot of scholarship opportunities, and it's a lifetime sport. It's a wonderful sport, and I'm glad to see that we're going to support this. So, thank you.
I also wanted to piggyback on that also because I had no idea that there were events that the girls were missing and that they were lacking because of that. I'm almost surprised that it's never really come up to our attention because of this. But we, of course, never want to see any of our students shortchanged, and we surely do not want to see girls put in that position because of a co-ed team. I didn't understand until I read that rationale that they have to start at a different tee and all of that. So I will be sort of supporting that going forward too. And I think that once the board and the committee heard exactly the rationale behind it, we had no problem with it. So anybody else have anything? Mrs. Francisco?
Mrs. Romeo?
Yes.
Mrs. O'Brien?
Yes.
Mr. Guarino?
Yes.
Mr. Ovchinsky?
Yes.
Mrs. Fritz?
Yes.
Mr. Drew?
Yes.
Mrs. Dwyer?
Yes.
Mr. Seidowitz?
No to 3, yes to the remainder.
Mrs. Van Dyke?
Yes.
I'd like to move item 12 under budget and finance.
Second. Discussion? Mrs. Francisco?
Mrs. Fritz?
Yes.
Mr. Guarino?
Yes.
Mr. Drew?
Yes.
Mrs. Dwyer?
Yes.
Mrs. O'Brien?
Yes.
Mr. Ovchinsky?
Yes.
Mrs. Romeo?
Yes.
Mr. Seidowitz?
Yes.
Mrs. Van Dyke?
Yes.
I'd like to move number 13 under budget and finance.
Second. Discussion? Mrs. Francisco?
Ms. O'Brien?
Yes.
Mrs. Romeo?
Yes.
Mr. Guarino?
Yes.
Mrs. Dwyer?
Yes.
Mrs. Fritz?
Yes.
Mr. Ovchinsky? Mr. Drew?
Yes.
Mr. Seidowitz?
Yes.
Mrs. Van Dyke?
Yes.
I'd like to move item 14 under budget and finance.
Second. Discussion? Okay. Mrs. Francisco?
Mrs. Dwyer?
Yes.
Mr. Guarino?
Abstain.
Mr. Seidowitz?
Yes.
Mr. Drew?
Yes.
Mr. Ovchinsky? Mrs. Fritz? Mrs. O'Brien?
Yes.
Mrs. Romeo?
Yes.
Mrs. Van Dyke?
Abstain.
I'd like to move item 15 under budget and finance.
Any discussion? Yes, Mr. Drew?
Gosh, I've had rather testy couple of weeks because I'm trying to close the books on my corporation for the year, which is something I have to have done within a month. And here we are 7 months into it, and we still don't know how we finished up last year and don't have final numbers. I'm just unhappy about that, I have to say.
Well,
know,
you
thank
can
for
write
doing
your
these, but-
complaints to the state of New Jersey, because they're the ones that delayed everything. But we have to upload everything by February 13th, so at the next board meeting, you will have, we're anticipating the audit presentation at the next board meeting.
The next regular meeting or
Yes, in
the
February. After February 13th.
7 months?
They were
Thank you.
waiting for information from the state, and the
I know,
state just
I know,
provided it
I
last
know.
week.
It's going to be like your Sunday. Any other discussion? Mrs. Francisco?
Mrs. Dwyer?
Yes.
Mr. Greeno?
Yes.
Mr. Seidowitz? Mr. Drew?
Yes.
Mr. Ovchinsky? Mrs. Fritz?
Yes.
Ms. O'Brien?
Yes.
Mrs. Romeo?
Yes.
Mrs. Van Dyke?
Yes.
I'd like to move item 16 under budget and finance.
Discussion? Mrs. Francisco?
Mrs. Dwyer?
Yes.
Mrs. Romeo?
Yes.
Mr. Drew?
Yes.
Ms. O'Brien?
Yes.
Mrs. Fritz?
Yes.
Mr. Ovchinsky? Mr. Greeno?
Yes.
Mr. Seidowitz? Mrs. Van Dyke?
Yes. Policy, Mrs. O'Brien.
No problem with me going through the motions, correct?
I don't know, is there a problem?
What would be the problem?
Mr. Huber raised about not being on the
Oh,
website?
no, so, yeah, just in regards to the Sunshine Act, since these policies are first reading, it's completely fine that we just aren't released to the public, because we have to go to a next meeting, which would be when they go into effect. Public comment should be at that time, the policy should be released so they can see what's changing, but the purpose of the first session is really to kind of work out the kinks of whatever the policy might be.
Okay. Thank you, Senator.
So we need a motion?
Without knowing what they are.
Okay.
I'd like to move items 1 through 5 in the policy.
Second.
Discussion?
We'll jump on the order anyway.
Do you have something, Mr.? No, just second. Oh, okay, oh, you're second. Okay. Mr. Seidowitz?
Is in regard to item number 2 regarding bylaws 0164. The bylaws of the Board of Education are similar to the Constitution of the United States. The change to those foundational governing documents has a high threshold to change because of their importance. Our bylaws strictly organize the board with specific methods of how we operate, conduct the board's affairs, and maintain consistency from board to board. There are specific ways in which we govern ourselves, and any change to our bylaws should require very deliberate and thoughtful discussion regarding a change. Tonight, we decide upon the changing of one word in bylaw 0164, conduct of board meetings. The change would be from Robert's Rules of Order newly revised shall govern the Board of Education to Robert's Rules of Order newly revised may govern the Board of Education. Perhaps there is an argument befitting the change. However, I'd like to explain why we should not entertain this change and vote against this first reading. Robert's Rules of Order has been developed over time to protect the rights of the majority, the minority, individual members, and absentees. By changing wording, those protections may fall to the wayside. If the operative word may is enacted in our bylaws, certain results shall occur. This change will indicate that not only may the board use portions of Robert's Rules, but we also may not use portions of Robert's Rules. Where does the line get drawn as to what rules of order we choose to use and which we will not use? Will we, the board, have a say in what rules we choose? Or will a single presiding officer dictate where those lines are drawn? And perhaps those lines will be redrawn again depending on the purpose of the time or who is presiding. So which rules may govern our meeting and which rules may not govern our meeting? Essentially, we have never exercised fundamentals of debate or exercised motions that allow members to firmly oppose main motions. We have a presiding officer that cuts off debate by calling the question when closing debate is fundamentally a decision of the board and not a single presiding officer. We have dialogue where questions of one member are being answered by many members at one time, and members cutting off one another to make their point. We have enough disorder now that changing this bylaw's wording will create further disorder and will make certain the opportunity for discord. Am I requesting a scholarship study by all members of the board? Absolutely not. However, our level of competence and confidence should always require continued study of the fundamentals of Robert's Rules. A professional decorum shall never be acquired if we may or may not be using the rules as they are fairly laid out. When a presiding officer is uncertain of the rules and the enforcement of the rules, the word may becomes more inviting of meeting instability, abuse of the minority's rights, and subject the assembly to great confusion over debate. This logical set of rules should govern our meetings to the fullest extent to our collective understanding. Will our understanding be perfect? No. But will our rules be implemented fairly? Absolutely. I am not comfortable with any presiding officer that has a poor understanding of the rules, making decisions of which rules we may or may not use. By changing the wording of Robert's Rules of Order shall govern to Robert's Rules of Order may govern the Board of Education, we make certain one fact. We may change our bylaws now, but we shall regret this decision in the future. And I submit this for the record.
Thank you. Any other discussion? Mr. Drew?
Thank you. It seems minor, but it's not really. Difference between shall and may means that there are some rules that we're not going to use. I would like to know which rules those are in writing before I could even consider voting yes to throw the rules aside. The advantage of Robert's rules, and there are many, but at least one of them is anybody can go read them and go understand the rules. I think in general, whenever you talk about the rules, something's wrong. If we're invoking the rules on a regular basis, something's wrong, and I'd rather we didn't. But if we need to, I certainly want to know what the rules are. Thank you.
Could we request that number 2 we either voted on after executive session, or I'd like to hear more information or look through it a little more. It's a first reading. Okay.
And I'm sorry, it also needs to be in public. It's not something that can be discussed in executive.
Okay.
That's right.
Maybe a question for Matt, but this seems like it's pretty general language that most boards have a bylaw around this. Is this language consistent to what other districts use, or is what we had previously what's consistent to what other districts use?
In my experience, which I know has been called into question, but in my experience, it's usually been a may. Usually what the boards are concerned with is their policies, which, strangely enough, only takes a simple majority to change. It's not a super majority. It's not a full majority of the board. If there was 5 board members here tonight, 3 of you could vote yes on this policy, 2 could vote no, the change would take effect. So just to give you an idea of how malleable these policies and bylaws can be. In terms of Robert's rules, I believe there are other rules of order that are out there that are adopted. They were, Robert's rules was modified based off of Congress, which, is imperfect. There's no public comment in Congress. As we know now, we're on our 32nd day of shutdown. Congress also has its issues. But generally, it's a may. It's usually policies, statutes, the Administrative Code, Title 6A that is the law, because you can't break that, there's penalties. With policies, you certainly could break the policies. Not saying you should, but like the school ethics code is our policy, but it's also the law. Many of our policies are grounded in the law and they're written so. So in terms of the may or shall, it's usually may. I believe it was adopted 5 or 6 years ago for shall because this became an issue back then. But I hope that answers your question.
Discussion?
So I was going to ask that. This was adopted 25 April 2012. I don't know. I wasn't on the board then. What did it read then? Did it read
It was
May?
shall.
I believe it was May.
It was May.
It went from May to shall?
Shall.
I don't know if there was another one. Okay.
Any other discussion? Mr. Drew?
If I could make a brief comment, I went and looked this up on New Jersey school boards. They recommend using Robert's rules. If you don't use Robert's rules, you pretty much need to have something, whatever it is. I would not recommend using the rules of the Senate that takes a supermajority to cut off discussion and goes on forever. The choice of shall versus may is certainly up to the board what we want to do, but they don't necessarily make a recommendation other than it's a good idea to use Robert's Rules of Order.
Well, in talking to a number of board presidents in different boards, I did talk to them about some of these bylaws, and the majority of them use the word may. And they use it because they feel it conducts a freer flow of conversation. They did feel that their meetings ran fine and that they weren't running that's exactly what they kind of gave me. And in the last two leadership conferences that I went to, that I did talk to them about bylaws, because bylaws seem to have been a sticking item for us last year, so I thought that this would be an idea. And looking at it, it seemed to be what came out of SMA too, that the word may should be issued. So it really is a discussion.
Is that the recommendation from Strauss Esme?
Yes.
I'd have to double check, but I'm not sure.
The ones I read, I
Yeah.
don't know.
I mean, I could certainly double check and see what Strauss Esme's recommendation is, but I don't have it in front of me.
Is there a particular problem that brought about the need for the change?
I just think that we were having some meetings where we were having some confrontational issues, and I thought that the word may, and discussion with other board members, that may would be more in line with what we were looking for. And, the discussion. And that's why we're having this discussion. Anyone else? If not, Mrs. Francisco?
Mr. Ovchinsky.
No to 2, yes to the remainder.
Mrs. Dwyer.
Yes.
Mr. Drew.
Yes to 1, 3, 4, 5, no to number 2.
Mr. Guarino.
Yes.
Mrs. O'Brien.
Yes.
Mrs. Fritz.
Yes.
Mrs. Romeo.
I wish I knew Strauss's definite recommendation for 2, but being that it's the first reading, I'm going to say yes.
Mr. Seidowitz.
No to 2, the remainder.
Mrs. Van Dyke.
Yes.
Makes perfect sense. Let's find out.
Mr. Guarino, Parks and Recs, any meeting
No meeting.
on schedule?
How do you like that? No. So they're still, obviously through the town council reorg. They've got new members that will be on the Parks and Rec committee, so they do not have a meeting date yet. I would think by end of February, they'll get one together.
Safety, we still don't have a meeting scheduled yet. So, Superintendent Roundtable, Mrs. Dwyer.
We have a meeting on Thursday.
State County School Board, Mrs. Dwyer and I will be attending the State County School Boards on February 4th. New Jersey School Boards, we will be having the ethics presentation here for all the board members. Legislative, Mr. Seidowitz.
So the governor's state of the state was issued last week, and we spoke about the legalization of marijuana. $15 minimum wage, the inability of the state to pay for its pensions, and regionalization. Same topics that have been spoken of by Senate President Steve Sweeney. The next Assembly Education Committee meeting is Thursday, January 24th. One of the issues that they will be discussing is a joint resolution about the Anti-Bullying Bill of Rights Act. What they will speak about, I will let you know. Thank you.
Thank you. Technology,
So no technology meeting, but we do have a new technology supervisor
That will set up as soon as he gets on here.
that's coming, and he'll be arriving
We're hoping next week.
I'm hoping February 1st.
beginning of
but
February.
It's dependent on his contract. It's up to 60 days is going to be February.
I think we're going to try to release him next week, the end of next week. So we're waiting for confirmation.
Good, excited for him to come aboard.
Township, I'm sure it's the same, right, Mrs. Dwyer, nothing?
Nothing's new, but there is a meeting with Wallish on February 7th.
CASA,
Dr. Anna Moon, Mrs. Fritz, and I attended the CASA meeting on the 14th of January. And the calendar of future meetings is posted on the westmilford.org website under the committees tab. But generally, meetings are held on the second Monday of each month at 7 o'clock in the library. The committee discussed several items, including a review of their bylaws and their membership. They created a subcommittee for grant proposals. They also discussed and approved some funding to support the Girls on the Run organization for this school year. The group discussed upcoming programs and events for 2019. They're all still being finalized, and we will update you each month. But as of right now, February, there will be a vaping awareness seminar, tentatively scheduled for the 26th at 7 p.m., location to be determined. Also discussion about the professional day and some of our staff doing the mental health first aid awareness, or mental health first aid. In March, there's a youth mental health first aid training to be held on a Saturday. They're looking at either the first or the third Saturday of March. Location also, again, to be determined. In April, something new for CASA is the Teen Summit, and they're partnering with some of our guidance department at the high school. One of our guidance counselors is the moderator for the Teen Summit project. And there is a link and some information on the Teen Summit Passaic County info page. But basically, projects are awarded points for presenting when students present them to the community. And in the past, they've presented directly to the CASA committee. This year, they're looking for a bigger space and some more community members to be involved. Discussion about Hidden in Plain Sight also to be held in April. There was a lot of discussion about this event and looking to kind of broaden the audience. Talked about maybe looking in the future to putting it with Safe Night or something else so that more parents and community members could see that great event. In May, they have their community awareness dinner. So they talked about topics and information on that. And last was the DUI reenactment to take place on June 4th, partnering up with that. So it was a great meeting, a lot in attendance. And the next meeting is on February 11th. Cool, yeah.
One update
Yeah.
that the vaping awareness seminar is going to be February 27th, I think.
Oh, cool.
Like, hasn't it changed to that? So we're still waiting for them.
Thank you.
Old business. Anyone have old business?
Seeing none, like to close old business.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
New business. I need someone to read the motion under new business. Anyone?
You want me to do that?
Sure.
Not
Mr.
football.
Lowell. Do that.
Whereas the New Jersey School Board Association has declared January 2019 to be School Board Recognition Month, a time where all residents can acknowledge the contributions made by our local school board members. And whereas the West Milford Board of Education is one of more than 581 local school boards in New Jersey, which sets policies and oversees operations for public school districts. And whereas the West Milford Board of Education embraces the goal of high-quality education for all New Jersey public school students. And whereas New Jersey's local school boards help determine the educational goals for approximately 1.4 million children in pre-kindergarten through 12th grade. And whereas New Jersey's 5,000 local school board members who receive no, thank you, I'll take it, for their services, and you know, we're going to have college words in this today, act as advocates for public school students as they work with administrators, teachers, parents for the betterment of public education. And whereas school boards strive to provide the resources necessary to meet the needs of all students, including those with special needs. And whereas Board of Education provides accountability to the public, they communicate the needs of the school district to the public, and they convey to school administrators the public's expectation for schools and, page 2,
Whereas New Jersey can take pride in its schools which rank among the nation's best in key achievement indicators such as the National Assessment of Educational Progress scores and the preparation for college through advanced placement offerings and SAT assessments. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the West Milford Board of Education does hereby recognize the services of local school board members throughout New Jersey as we join community statewide in observing January 2019 as School Board Recognition Month. And be it further resolved that the West Milford Board of Education urges all New Jersey citizens to work with their local boards of education and public school staff towards the advancement of our children's education.
We need a second on the motion. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Abstain.
You abstain? Okay.
I just don't think I ought to pat myself on the back.
On behalf of all of our students, our parents, and our staff members, thank you to each of our board members for all your hard work. We really appreciate it.
Any other? Mr. Seidowitz.
Made a motion. I move that the administration prepare a request for information for a demographic study within 60 calendar days of passing this resolution. The criteria of the study shall be determined by the administration and presented to a committee of the whole prior to the official RFI for a demographic study.
Second.
Discussion? Mr. Seidowitz?
Why do we need a demographic study?
Thank you.
We need to provide this board and future boards with data. Our board has been faced with declining enrollment, a declining tax base that will become flat because of growth restrictions imposed by the powers that be, and by our township's anti-growth culture, and the eventual $7 million total reduction in state aid. Should the board rest assured that raising taxes will fill a $7 million gap in state aid? We can't. High taxes have already driven our residents out of West Milford. The public will demand cuts before the egregious tax increase is needed to fill this gap. Where does the board cut? How will those cuts affect students? And the most important question of all, how many students are we preparing to cut teachers and programs for? We need to fairly assess the realistic needs of the district for the here and now and for our district's future. When a board of the near future has to deal with the $7 million elimination of state aid, how will that board of the future handle this detriment with no information to guide them? Did we neglect our stewardship responsibilities by voting against data gathering such as a demographic study to blindly continue along a path that will certainly lead to large layoffs, loss of academic programs, a degraded and forcefully ignored infrastructure, and financial breaking points that, when a lack of proper planning occurs, will create desperate, drastic, and uncalculated cuts. It is my understanding that we sit at this dais because of the public's hope that our leadership will wisely make difficult choices when they are necessary because we are informed. Should the question of a school closing be asked? Yes, it's a possibility. Just like the question of, do I need to move out of West Milford, crossed the minds and became a reality for a multitude of West Milford residents. However, this demographic study is not an endorsement of closing a school. Adding to this, a decision so great should be decided by a public referendum if, God forbid, such a difficult decision must be made for the benefit of our student population. I ask that you support this data gathering for the benefit of our future students.
Any discussion? Mr. Barino?
Do we know that there are less people, that many less people living in West Milford now than in 2010? Okay.
No, there are not. Census Bureau says no.
Oh,
It's the same number. We do have our own student enrollment numbers.
Correct. But
total number of people is almost exactly the same.
I mean, I was listening, and it sounded as if people had moved out of town and new people hadn't moved back in. So that's what I just want to make sure.
Okay.
Mr. Drew, did you? Oh.
Yeah, I just have a quick question. Do we know how much this would cost or how much we paid the last time we did this?
Well, my question is that we keep doing this during new business, And really, new business is a discussion time. It's really not a time to put out a motion on the floor. And the person who's supposed to handle putting the motions on the agenda are the superintendent. We keep getting caught in this cycle to get things out there. It's one thing to discuss it, it's another thing to put a motion or a resolution up that no one sitting around this table has heard before, and we have no idea how much the cost is going to be. But that's a discussion for each board member here, and if that's what they're looking for, they can always contact the superintendent, get it through committee, and have people discuss it in committee so that we can put a motion on the agenda and have an informative discussion. But right at this moment, since this is the first time I've heard it, I really can't give you an info.
And, sorry, just a point of clarification, yeah. Was this a motion to explore this, or just that you were making a motion, Mr. Seidowitz, to just, is there someone you have in mind, like a consultant? Do you know the cost, or is it just like a motion to bring the discussion to a forefront?
Well, we did this in 2010. Well, I wasn't part of the board. And it came up with numbers of a future declining enrollment and future population loss, which the reality was our township did exceed the number that was predicted, but Havers and Associates were fairly close to the realistic number. I think that there's a possibility that we may have an increase in student enrollment, and if we don't prepare for an increase in student enrollment, it has as much detriment to our budget, the taxpayer at large, as would a loss of student enrollment.
I understand your concern,
So,
but my question...
in terms of the cost, I believe it's somewhere, was it 14,000? I'm just trying to remember. But if the board is willing to do this again, I suppose after discussing our points, we table this and bring it up under old business for our next meeting. That's my suggestion.
Mrs. Dwyer and then Mrs. Fritz.
First of all, I think that 60 days is unrealistic. I think that if you're going to do a demographic study, by the time you hire a consultant, by the time you put the necessary surveys in place, you're just, the 60 days is just not realistic. The second thing is the statement about people moving out of West Milford, I don't think is also realistic. I think you'd have to go and do a study of how many people are actually moving out, but you also have to look at how many parents are bringing their children back to the district. You have to look at how many young families are coming into the district. There's a lot of factors here that have to be considered, and I don't believe that a discussion at this time or a motion at this time is appropriate.
Mrs. Fritz?
My comments were along those lines, and you answered my question if 2010 was the last time it was done. So from a time standpoint, it could be possible that it wouldn't be harmful in doing something like that, but I agree that it's something that should be discussed in committee to get more information and understand the cost, because it's not only about whether or not to do it, but, we're looking at sports and programs, and, if we can find, $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 for a coach or a teacher, and, if this is $20,000, if it was 14 that many years ago, it's a tough budget year, so I think we have to just be realistic and have a conversation and not be hasty about it. I'm not saying you should not do it or do it. And then I think the other piece of it is with the enrollment piece, people are moving in and out of town all the time. You keep hearing like, enrollment's down, we should close the school. I mean, enrollment could peak over the next 2 years. I mean, the town center is beautiful now. You get people that come up here. You hear so many young families looking up here. In the same fashion, to your point, enrollment could go up, and then if you close the school, then where are you putting everybody? So they are things that should be looked at, but they're thrown out on the table so hastily. They need a little bit more discussion around them.
Now, I do want to go back to is there a motion on the floor? Because somebody did second it, correct?
Yeah, there was a motion and it was seconded.
No, so, and like I said, Mr. Seidowitz, it seems like you would like to take action, but you don't have a consultant in mind, and you're not sure what the cost is. Is that correct?
I'm not the professional that would seek the RFI. I'm only the board member that kind of directs the administration to do so with the help of other board members. So that wouldn't be my choice.
I understand. My question, though, is just really, what is it the motion going to accomplish? So if it passes...
So the motion what's being accomplished right now is that we are actually talking about probably a very touchy subject in this township. And I'm glad we're talking about this. And the thing with motions and the beauty about motions, Mr. Donahue, is that any one of our board members can alter that motion, and any one of our members can also send it to a committee to be discussed further. So my purpose is to raise this point of this is something that we need for data gathering, and it shouldn't be scrutinized from the outside looking in as this is a motion to close down a school. And the reason why there's a time on it is because there was a motion about 2 years ago where there wasn't a time put on it. And because there wasn't a time put on it, it was swept under the rug. So I have a problem not putting times on that.
So, Mr. Sutter, was just a point of clarification. The issue, though, is that if we just have this blank motion, essentially, where that we're agreeing to spend some X amount of dollars and have some consultant take place, there is a concern under the Sunshine Law because you're essentially taking action on an unknown amount of money that you said you guessed was $14,000 10 years ago, and that could cause problems with the local public contracts law. It could cause problems for the board. So, again, that's why I'm just trying to clarify with you. If this is just a discussion, it's just a motion to consider it, a motion to ask Barbara to look at a consultant to possibly do this, that's different from saying we are going to have this be done by 60 days and use X amount of dollars, which we're unsure of right now.
Well, Mr. Donahue, that's why it's a request for information as opposed to a request for proposal.
But it was a motion, and
Yeah.
you have to take action, correct?
It sounded like it was a motion to be done within 60 days to have a demographic study. That's what it sounded like you said.
No, the demographic study would not be done by that point at all. It would be the criteria for which the board would like to investigate certain data points would be developed by 60 days. I don't expect a 60-day turnaround.
So that's part of, I think, the shock here. It definitely sounded like you just asked us to vote on, call the question. Sorry.
Let's do, no, Mr. Guarino did want to make it, did you want to say something?
Again, I think I was confused. Is this a motion because we want to look at our school system because it sounded like we have less people in town and less students, but that was in your prepared statement, and then you said, I think we're going to have increased enrollment, so, I want to be prepared for that. I'm just confused about where you're trying to go with this. And I guess that's...
The ultimate goal, as per the statement, was we have a lot of things that are confronting us. It would be great to have numbers. Maybe we should request some information regarding what we could look at as a board with any number of professionals that are demographers that would come to us and say, well, let's say our administration went to Haber and 2 other different companies. They come back and say, these are the criteria at which we look at, and then our judgment would say, well, let's also take a look at this data point and this data point because we want to know what's been happening and how should we prepare for the future.
So, Mr. Seidowitz, do you want us to take it, I think what we're trying to figure out here, do you want us to, I don't think you need a motion for us to have a discussion during new business. We could just have the discussion without the motion and refer it to committee if that's what you're looking to do. No one here is going to make a decision on a motion that we don't have any idea about. Right. Maybe we will. I shouldn't say that. I shouldn't speak for anyone. But I think if you wanted to move to a committee discussion where there can be a discussion to look into it, to find out how much it's going to cost, what the impact will be to our district, that can be done in 60 days. It could be put on the next committee agenda for budget and finance easily. Is that what you're looking for?
Actually, what I'm looking for is to table this motion till the next meeting. I would need a second for that.
Okay.
And that we could vote on.
Do we have to close out the motion that was seconded on to begin with?
Well, again, so he can make a motion to table, but the issue I just want to clarify is that if you table this motion, it dies. You could make the motion again if you want to at the next meeting, but
I could take it from the table. How does it die?
because you have to take action. Actually, in most cases with Robert's Rules of Order, when you table a motion, it's not like postponed. That's why I'm always very careful to say we're postponing until after
Depends on how
exec.
you table.
Excuse me, Mr. Drew?
Depends on how you table.
True, but what I'm saying though is unless we're going to take action on this meeting, any motion that doesn't get passed tonight dies. And then you could bring it up again. There's nothing to prevent you from having this exact same conversation and motion at the next meeting, but there's no like picking up from, last time. It would just be, you would make a motion for a request for information, or to go to committee. If it gets seconded, we discuss it. Simple majority, after the discussion's done, would pass the motion, otherwise it would fail.
You could withdraw the motion.
So,
Rather than table it, you can just withdraw it.
then I move to refer this to operations or
Finance.
budget and finance.
Well, okay.
That's all right.
Okay. Mr. Drew?
I think we have to
You had
take,
the motion on the floor. I need
Yeah,
a second.
we have to take action.
Are you seconding it? Are you going to second?
well, he isn't amending the motion, so considering a different motion while we're discussing one that's already an active motion is out of order, frankly. But that's my personal opinion.
You're right.
Okay.
I wanted to make the comment that I'm interested in knowing how much it costs, how long it would take, so on and so forth. And so I think we ought to consider that, but I'm going to vote against taking immediate action on the original motion, but I would like to see somebody say, we could do this, it would cost this much, it would take this long, and then maybe we consider it again.
So do we need
Correct.
to?
So at this point,
We have to dispense with the
let's
original
dispense with
motion
this
one way or
motion.
another.
That's fine. Afterwards, Mr. Drew, it seems like would like to make a motion just for this board and potentially, I guess, the board administrator to look into this, collect information, go to committee, and then we'll go through our normal procedures.
Correct.
Is that correct, Mr. Drew?
All of that, except I'm not going to make a motion, I'm just going to ask Barbara to look at it.
Understood.
So we have a roll call on this? It's
Yes.
to accept.
It's to just take Mr. Seidowitz's motion as it was presented.
Okay.
That's what we're voting.
Roll call, Mrs. Francisco.
On the original
On
request
the
for...
original request by Mr. Seidel.
The original.
The original request.
A
the original
60-day
motion.
demographic
Seidowitz.
study.
Yes.
Mr. Drew,
No.
Mrs. Dwyer,
No.
Mrs. Fritz,
No.
Mr. Guarino,
No.
Ms. O'Brien,
No.
Mr. Ovchinsky,
No.
Mrs. Romeo,
No.
Mrs. Van Dyke.
No. Now, you can have discussion under new business for what you want. It doesn't need to be a motion, it just needs to be discussion. Mr. Joseph.
I would like, and I'm not making a motion,
Right.
but I would like somebody to go look at the records and say, this is how much it cost, and this is how long it took, and present that to either the Finance or Education Committee for potential
You could go to
future
both. You could
consideration.
actually go to both committees.
Yeah,
It would be
I
wonderful.
just, you know.
Yeah.
I think Mr. Seidowitz raises some very valid points of things we need to look at in order to plan for the future.
Agreed.
I understand where he was going with it. I think one of the things that we haven't been doing as a board is we need to remember that new business and old business is a discussion time. And we've been making motions and resolutions during that. And the reason that board members may be voting no on them is because they're being thrown at them at that moment. The discussion is a great time. It's really important for discussion. And that's what we need. We need the discussion, not the motion. We need to have the discussion on the floor so that then more discussion can happen in committee and we can come to a consensus. And I think that that's where we've been lacking a little in the old business and new business area. So I thank you, Mr. Drew, and I thank you, Mr. Seidowitz, for the discussion. And we will move forward. Is there something else under new business?
Seeing none, I'd like to close new business.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay. We need a motion for executive session.
Public comment.
Oh, I'm sorry, public comment. I completely. Members of the public who have requested to speak prior to the meeting will be first with 5 minutes for each speaker for a period of 30 minutes, and then time permitting, other public comment limited to 5 minutes per speaker will be allowed until the 30-minute time period transpires. All speakers are asked to give their full name, spell their last name, and provide their address. Speakers may not use the names of students during public comment. Anyone wishing to speak? Okay, if not,
Seeing none, I'd like to close public comment.
Second.
okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
All right, executive session, we need a motion. At 9:05.
At
9:07.
9:05, I'd like to make a motion to go into executive session for the purpose of discussing personnel appointments, resignations, litigation matters, special education matters, PIDs, Hillcrest, and matters of attorney-client privilege. The executive session minutes will not be released until such time as the privilege or confidentiality is no longer applicable.
We will return for
Second.
action.
Who seconded? You're right. And then it was seconded.
Okay. Return for action, we will be coming back. All those in favor?
Aye.
We did start piloting a digital one.